Hello, everybody, and welcome to From the Sideline, a show where we talk all things NFL. We are live at 8 p.m. Eastern on Sundays on Sports Fluent. Right now, we're live on YouTube, Facebook, and X, and we have pretty much a full house. I think I'm waiting for one more co host to join us. And to the right of me is Kody, bottom down is Josh, and to the left of him is Jackson, and we're just waiting for CJ. And we are going to talk about something that is super hot right now. No pun, actually, pun intended, actually. We're talking about the spiciest takes of the season coming up for you guys. And we have a whole list of takes from all our co hosts, including myself. So I can't wait to get started. So I guess it's funny because I think CJ was the one who brought this up, but he's not here right now. But it's fun. It's okay. So spiciest takes pretty much means like the predictions, the long takes that we think are actually going to prevail during the NFL season. And let's start with Kody. Do you have any of your spicy takes of the season and why?
Okay. I'm just gonna start off hot with a homer one. I think the Patriots make a wild card spot. I'm just gonna roll with it.
I respect that. Okay.
Yep. So I don't know if that's like a 1 or 2 jalapeno hot take, but I think that's I think
Josh
Steve,
is pouring the shot already. Oh my god. Okay.
they have an easy schedule, and I like the offseason additions. They did really good on the defensive side. Obviously, getting Mike Vrabel was huge. Getting guys on defense, getting Stephon Diggs. I thought their draft was good. Will Campbell, Trevion Henderson, Kyle Williams. And I feel like the other teams in that division outside of Buffalo, I think are going to take a step back. I think Miami takes a step back. I think the Jets take a step back and are worse without Rodgers with Justin Fields. But I just think Drake May takes another step this year. He showed some flashes last year of being a franchise quarterback. So I think he gets better this year. And I think there's some opening at the bottom of the AFC where you can kind of sneak into a wild card. We saw the Steelers do that the last couple of years. So I think the Patriots can be that team. So I'm going to take one jalapeno hit. So that's a one.
That might be, you might have to take two, depending on how.
Is that a 2 spice? Is that a 2?
I don't know. Wild card, that's pretty. It's pretty a high order, I feel like, for the Patriots. I agree with you, Kody. I agree that we had a good draft. I agree that we had some good signings, but I don't know until they actually start playing like how well they're actually gonna do cohesively, with Mike Vrabel and everybody can join together. So, anyways, maybe that's a 2 jalapeno one.
Use the second one then.
If everyone who is joining us right now, this is From the Sideline. We have not just our co-hosts, we have hot sauces and jalapenos in the house right now. Josh and Kody for sure eating them. Like there's no you guys are not even struggling. I would have died if I ate these jalapenos. Yeah, Josh, you gotta start low, the easiest hot sauce, and then build your way up as the takes get even spicier. I feel like so we're gonna do something like that.
I can do that.
Okay, cool. So since Josh is rearranging his hot sauce, I'm gonna move on to Jackson, who's right below me. Do you have a really spicy take? And this is for these guys. The spicier it gets, the more they gotta take. So, what is your spicy take, Jackson?
All right, so I think a lot of people are going to go with teams. So a lot of my spicy takes are going to have to do with players. And my spiciest take is that the rookie of the year this year, the offensive rookie of the year, was not selected in the first round. And I want to open that up to discussion as to, who some people's best guesses are at who they may be if you exclude the first round.
Well, I mean, I'd hope it'd be Trevion Henderson just after the last take I just had, but he's going to share too much time with Stevenson, so I don't know about that. Maybe Tyler Shuck. He's probably going to start in New Orleans. That could be one.
Josh, who do you think?
That's a good one.
After rearranging your hot sauces.
What was the question?
So my spicy take was that the offensive rookie of the year was not selected in the first round.
Mm-hmm.
And so we're opening up our discussion now. I think that some good guesses were already made by Kody with Shuck and then Henderson as well, right? The two good offensive weapons. Shuck has the offense handed to him, right? They don't really have any other options outside of him. It doesn't mean it's a great offense to be handed, but sometimes playing with less expectation offers you a little bit more of that edge, right? There's plenty of coaches of the year that take on a team that had no expectations and they actually kind of got to play free. And so they made a significant jump, not saying that those teams were like contenders, but they were definitely way up from the year before.
I do
think
like
the
it.
hot sauce is getting to him.
It is hitting me a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna go with a lineman.
Okay.
Zabel for offensive rookie of the year.
Jackson has a good poker face, man. I can't tell who's right now.
So
I
Jackson,
think-
sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
I think that it's more going to be a product of lack of production in the first round talent that'll open up that door. So I think that Cam Ward is coming in with crazy expectations in Tennessee, and there's a chance that they may not have the supporting cast around him to help.
Right.
There's just a lot of other the fact that not many other quarterbacks were selected in the first round with the whole Shedeur Sanders fiasco opens up the gate to, if Cam Ward doesn't perform well, it could really be anybody's rookie of the year, offensive rookie of the year race, right? Now Genti is a generational talent, but once again, that's a position that relies so much on the offensive line and on passing game production. So if they can't really mesh as an offense with a new quarterback coming in, new coaching and all that, it may be kind of a mess offensively, especially to start, and he may not be able to put together a stat line to compete. I think there's a decent chance that it ends up being a receiver as well. There were a lot of good receivers in this draft, so a lot of great ones had to fall to the second round. Luther Burden is one I think of, as well as Jaden Higgins. Obviously, they play for teams with good receivers on them already.
Yeah.
But there were a lot of talented receivers that fell not just to the second, but all the way down the draft. I really like the Panthers draft of it's gonna kill me now. From Colorado, the little guy.
Oh, yeah. Not Wester, but oh gosh, what's the other one's name?
It's killing me. I had it all prepped and everything. But obviously there's just a ton of talent in that receiver field. And so I could see a receiver kind of sneaking, one of those second round receivers sneaking out and getting it. Especially with where some of those guys went at talented offenses that may have the star power to take the attention off of a talented rookie receiver so that they can find good matchups.
So I think this is pretty spicy. I just looked it up. The last non-first round pick to do it is Dak Prescott in 2016. So we're looking at almost like eight seasons. So
yeah,
that is pretty spicy. I'm still just going to do one jalapeno since we're early, but it is pretty spicy.
Oh man, I want to get into this, but I have we all have work tomorrow. At least I think we all have work tomorrow. So I'm like, I don't even. That's why I'm not. Me and Jackson are right here, just not participating. Jackson's recovering from 4th of July. You guys are brave soldiers. Let's just keep it that way going forward.
If someone gives a dud of a projection, something that's not hot enough, maybe someone can pop a Tums as
exactly
in a response.
That should be. I was just saying, guys. Tums is one of my clients, so I mean, if we could do a product reveal or something like that, that'd be really cool. I think just go and get the Tums product reveal. Be like, this is what happens when we do spicy takes of the season. Now, Josh, you just took another hot sauce shot. Are you able to deliver your spicy take? And are you able to, deliver on that as well by taking another spicy shot?
All right. So don't worry, I have a lot of spicy takes. Don't get me wrong. But to go off what Jackson brought up, another player I was thinking maybe Jackson Dart. Could surprise some people. And overall, is a good, solid supporting cast, and I think he's somebody who could have won the QB room over time and then wheel and deal that football. Could take it by surprise. You never know. I mean, you like to throw the ball a lot, and they got the shiny weapon at receivers to kind of help take care of them.
Mhm.
Cool. God, which take do I have? I'm ready to get my shot last here. All right. I'm going to start with the coach firings.
Mm.
So, the big list I got 3 potential coach firings. Sean McDermott, Dan Campbell, and Mike McDaniel.
Guys,
Damn,
it
2
just
out of
got
3 of those is
spicy.
pretty spicy.
Yeah,
2 out of 3
it
of
just
those
got
is spicy. Yeah,
We're gonna have to get 2 or 3 jalapenos, Kody, for that.
it's a 2. That's a 2 for sure. Damn.
Because I think they all got good, great, solid rosters and whatnot. You've been at the helm for a while. What are you doing with it? So I think upon A10, their season is also maybe getting a little hot. We brought previous, like mediocrity and whatnot. Is killing greatness and whatnot. And if you're not getting it done, you still got a solid roster. Kind of squandering away. Maybe you're as a coach, maybe you're not that it factor to get the job done. Help push players to the next level. So you ain't get it done neither with the team or the players. That's my take.
So the take is that one of those 3 will go.
At
For
least
all of those 3.
At
least.
Yeah. I think McDaniel's not a shock, but McDermott or Campbell, that would be. I mean, you're talking about 2 teams that were the top 2 seeds, and they're both in the top 2 in their last season last year. McDermott's been in the conference championship game a bunch. Campbell's taken the Lions to the conference championship like the first time in like my entire lifetime. So I don't know. That's pretty spicy.
I struggle to see with the Lions that they'll make that firing because of what Kody said. They haven't been to the mountaintop. It's been so long since they've had any success. So, Dan not just giving them morsels, but giving them a very successful season. I don't think that they're like some teams who come off of a successful season hangover and say, oh, we expect more. Detroit doesn't. So I don't see them letting Campbell go. I think they could have an atrocious season that they could not make the playoff and have to kind of throw it in the in the wastebasket and say, oh, we got to regroup for next year. And I don't see them firing Campbell to prepare for that.
maybe not, but they might think that cute rah can only get you so far. You have a talented roster regardless. And, that rah stuff in the locker room is cute and all, but I said like you can't get to the next level with like right at the helm, like y'all pooped your pants against Washington, hardcore. Like what gives? Maybe that whole rah technique can only get you so far. Like how do you help your team adapt and overcome? Against genuine adversity and whatnot, against a rookie quarterback who balled out versus everyone. Your team couldn't handle it. So now that doesn't mean I love a rah as much as the next guy, but Super Bowl window is only so long for so many teams. So they set that high bar. If you can't make it, then that's on it.
Yeah, it's funny. Oh, go ahead. Whoever wants to talk.
I was just gonna say I could entertain McDermott, right?
Same.
They've been up at that, they've been at their peak for so long and just not reached that next level that so many fans are waiting on. And this team has had a little bit more success historically than the Lions. So I could see them getting frustrated, the ownership getting frustrated and saying, you've been there. We've tried this a million times. Like, we're not shooting for a conference championship. We're not shooting for playoff spots here. Like, we want Super Bowls with the talent that we have. And I could see them letting them go, and they would be probably more justified than the Knicks were for letting go of their coach this offseason, right? Because the Knicks are maybe more like the Lions in the fact that they haven't enjoyed that success in a while. So,
right.
Yeah, I could entertain McDermott, but there's nothing that I think Dan Campbell could do to lose the job this year.
For sure. Oh, there you go. CJ's coming back. Don't worry, guys.
Jake was too spicy.
Right? Yeah. Just to agree with Jackson there, though, I can entertain McDermott because I feel like if they lose again to the Chiefs, it could just be like, okay, we're done. Like, you can't get over the top. You can't get over that hump. We're not going to keep you around. And there's been talk after they've lost, I don't know, 4 times now to the Chiefs in the last like 6 seasons, it seems like, that there could be. So, yeah, I could entertain that one. McDaniel, I think, is I think he might have the highest odds to get fired or pretty close to. But, yeah, Campbell, that would be the bottom would have to fall out for the Lions, I think, for Campbell to be fired. But, hey, I appreciate the spiciness. That's why I did the 2 jalapenos. I appreciate it.
Yeah, CJ, we were talking about if you were just filling in on the show right now. Josh brought up coach firings, and he brought up 3. So, Josh, who were the 3 that you were talking about? Obviously, McDermott was one. We just talked about him.
Dan Campbell, and then Mike McDaniel.
You look at his face. He's just like, Josh has some of the spiciest takes for sure on the show. So kudos for him for bringing up Campbell. CJ, what do you think about that? Because they already took their hot sauce shots and jalapenos.
Good. I'm glad I missed that. So yeah, Dan Campbell definitely unlikely unless this team just implodes and just like he loses the locker room and there's just some scandal. I just think Dan Campbell has kind of enriched himself at least multiple bad years, right? I think he's built the foundation in Detroit and he's just trying to figure out where's the next step. Especially this year they're going to have a lot of their players back healthy, so I think that could help them. Obviously, the new coordinators is going to be see how that works out. I love Mike McDaniel as the offensive coordinator and Frank Smith. Those two, I think, produces a really good offense.
It's starting, guys. It's starting.
I do think that his seat is the hottest, and I don't know what the heck the Miami Dolphins are doing. And it's everyone is talking about how there's Devon A-Chain has came out on Twitter and just saying if you do well a year prior, you get a contract extension, but then it's you're gone the next year. So it's why are you giving them more money and then just say, yeah, actually we messed up and we don't want you. It's been happening. It's becoming a trend for Miami. And so I don't know if it's an ownership thing or if it's, I think it's Chris Greer is the GM for the Miami Dolphins. So it's definitely something, an approach of this is something's not clicking here. And I think a total reset for the Dolphins could be in store. But again, there is issues with ownership in Miami. He's been, on the hot seat of possibly getting trying to get outed as an owner as well. So that could possibly happen this year. Finally, things come to light. So I could see Miami Dolphins having a complete rebuild in terms of new ownership, GM, and head coach entering next year.
Okay, guys. Any thoughts about that? Also, Josh, why are we doing watermelon? You guys should be drinking milk to help the spiciness. Okay, just saying. FYI.
I was going to add that piece of education is that fruits are known to have certain acids in them that it would only enhance the spice, not its own. You gotta chew on some Hawaiian bread loaves or something.
Ooh, yes, I got that. Milk is all the way upstairs, and it's a warm day over here in Minnesota, so watermelon is hitting.
Yeah, it's pretty hot today.
But outside of that, so to kind of double down again on Dan Campbell and why they've been successful enough with this, not because of him, but the coordinators. And I believe the players the teams are playing well, and they're a product of their systems. Now they're both gone. That Campbell, he ain't doing all that. Okay, he's not much of a X's and O's guy. Like I said before, he's just a rah-rah guy. So I think,
I would disagree because if you know anything about Detroit, before Ben Johnson actually became the offensive coordinator, Dan Campbell was running the offense after he fired Anthony Lynn. And it took a while before he decided to give the offense over to Ben Johnson. And Dan Campbell's also part of the Sean Payton tree. So he has a pretty good lineage of understanding offensive play. Obviously, he doesn't have to be the play caller. I think he's allowed himself to be able to sit back and be quote unquote CEO, head coach, and just allow his players, allow his coordinators to do and develop coordinators. But at the same time, he could do it because he has done it before.
But not well, though.
It did well. Obviously, Anthony Lynn, his first hire as offensive coordinator wasn't great. he kind of went from being a running back coach to a head coach and then back to a coordinator. So he kind of skipped the step there. But he steadied the offense, and he was very influential with like building the identity of what the Detroit Lions were. Like this wasn't like a Ben Johnson identity to start with. It was Dan Campbell saying, we're going to be a smash mouth football team. And then obviously, Ben Johnson had creativity to do fun stuff in the pass game and stuff like that. But like he just developed the identity of the Detroit Lions, being it is his team.
Oh, I agree. The philosophy and identity, 100% him. Well, the X's and O's, like, oh, we're going here, we're flipping this way. No, that's not him. I don't. I think he probably self-awareness, like, bro, I can't do all this. This guy can though. Here you go, man. Here you go. Draw it up for me. I'm gonna cry at the podium during these times.
I wonder. I think that the only way that this could possibly happen, if the firing of Dan Campbell could possibly happen in the next 12 months, is if there are like legal accusations. And the day that we get that ESPN report, Josh will send it to the group and he'll say, I told you so. That's the only way. I mean, they could have an abysmal season this year.
Yeah,
I don't think they would give him another run.
Right. Yeah. Or if someone like Kyle Shanahan or someone gets fired and there's just like a hot coach out there to hire, and the Lions have a terrible season and go back to the old Lions. But like I said, I appreciate the spicy take. I don't see that. I could see the other two, but I can't see Campbell.
Guys, speaking of things that you can't see, but I can see somebody that's near and dear to our hearts. Josh, you weren't privy to this, but Mr. Two Locks just arrived back on the comment scene on YouTube saying, hot take, Packers or Rams will be the NFC champs. What do we think of that? Is that spicy or is that not?
I don't know that that's that spicy. I kind of
half
like
a jalapeno.
Yeah, I kind of like both those teams. Like, and not picking one either. Not to flame you, Mr. Two Locks, but not picking one takes the spice away, right? Now, if you say I'm definitive that the Rams are definitive that the Packers, and that has a little kick to it, but I like both teams. I think that both teams have, they have 18 games to sort it out, and I think they could put together a good season. So I don't hate it. I don't
half a jalapeno, half a shot, Josh. There you go. You guys go take one.
All right,
half a shot.
let me combat that. Maybe a spicy take to a spicy take. I don't think Packers are going to make the playoffs.
I don't think that's that spicy. You said they won't or they will?
They
will not.
They will.
I still honestly, they're such a they're literally like a middle of the teeter-totter. Like, either way, it wouldn't surprise me with the Packers because they're such a young team. Again, like we know, like they're prone to slow starts, but they also are a team that can get hot and go on a run. So it's like I wouldn't be surprised either way.
Yeah.
So,
and with the Rams, I think the Rams are like the favorite after the Eagles to win the NFC. Like
I
think they're
love
number
the
two
Rams
favorites.
season,
Actually, if we were doing predictions, that might be different. But I think the Rams could definitely make the Super Bowl and be the NFC champs. So, I'm not high on the Packers, but them getting on a run and winning the NFC wouldn't be the most shocking thing in the world. So so that's why I cut the jalapeno in half just to
just like with your fork, just cut it in half.
I just do it with a spoon. It was a little difficult, but yeah, because it's in the jar, so it makes it tough. But so
I don't think anybody, maybe Jackson could correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think anybody here is super high on the Packers. I would say, especially I know Josh isn't. And same as CJ and Kody, but because Jackson, I haven't really heard your thoughts on the Packers. Thank God I didn't wear my Packers jersey, or Josh would have freaking scolded me for that. I feel like. So Jackson, what do you think? Yeah,
I feel like we're not even 2 months removed from a segment where Josh raved about Jordan Love and the Packers being this contending team.
It's true.
You could just if you wait long enough, people forget what you say. And you could just take a take on both sides and post whichever one was right.
Actually, that's the Skip Bayless effect.
Yes.
Josh is like, now I gotta take like a whole 2 shots.
I'm a little worried that Josh may have inhaled some of the hot sauce during the call out.
Well, because it could go either direction. Because it takes one thing to go wrong. Because why I said what I did even just now, because I also upon the coach firing, I also think Mike LaFleur could be somebody who might get it, who might get axed.
That's kind of spicy.
He's had Rodgers, he's had Love. He's not done anything with either one of them.
What?
Uh-oh.
Do you forget football?
I'd go football. All right.
He didn't do anything with Rodgers.
Did they go to the Super Bowl?
Bro, he had Rodgers his last 2 MVP years and made the playoffs. No, now to say they didn't make a deep run, I'll give you that. But to say he didn't do anything, that's just malice. That's just like
you are spoon-fed on a platter, a great quarterback and somebody you anticipate to be great. Did nothing. I forgot what game it was like against the 49ers. They just wet themselves. Home field, everything in between.
Shit the bed. Show the sauce.
Obviously, if you're talking about playoff success, for sure, yeah, you can have an argument about playoff success. But if you just say nothing, as in they didn't do anything, losing seasons, terrible, then that's just wrong.
That bar is set. Playoff success is part of it. You got great quarterbacks in the helm, essentially. When not, you ain't doing nothing. You ain't getting that run for like the NFC Championship. Nothing. Just squander it. You know, high expectations for, the frozen tundra of Green Bay. Y'all ain't doing nothing with it. Again, expectations. Y'all living up to it. That's
he also destroyed the Cowboys and Jerry's world.
I mean, it's Cowboys.
That's true, they did.
I mean, but you saying nothing. So I mean, that's playoff win. So it's like you have to, if you can give me like a meter, like if you're obviously Super Bowl or nothing. I don't think the Packers are Super Bowl or nothing because since they did move on from Aaron Rodgers, there is more of they did move to a youth movement. So they're in a bit of a retooling era. So obviously you could say that, hey, like they gave it their best shot with the last couple years of Aaron Rodgers, which, couple MVPs, COVID toe, all that, you had obviously not the playoff success that you wanted. So they had to retool and go with Jordan Love, and a very young roster and rebuilding the defense. So that process definitely is taking a little bit longer than expected. But I mean, I don't know. What they did with the young roster going, with a run and beating the Cowboys, I think that's pretty notable for trying to figure out what you want to do because it's not easy to go from a Hall of Fame quarterback to an up-and-coming quarterback who's been sitting.
I think the metric there for doing anything is probably based on the last coach in charge. And I think a lot of people are going to compare any coach's success in Green Bay to McCarthy, right? And with McCarthy having a Super Bowl win and all that, and of course LaFleur not. What's that in 2010?
In 2010, yeah. But Mike LaFleur I'm pretty sure Mike LaFleur has like the highest winning percentage of like Packers coaches probably. Because he has at least close to a 600 winning percentage. He's won a lot.
Rodgers won a lot.
Well, I think with the Packers too, I feel like they're a little bit like the Steelers, where it's like their expectations, whether whoever's at the helm, like coach, expectations are always high because they're always competitive. Like my entire life, the Packers have been competitive, and they've had Favre, Rodgers, and now Jordan Love. So you feel like they're always going to be there, but then you look back and you're like, okay, well, they only won one Super Bowl with Brett Favre, they only won one with Aaron Rodgers, and they haven't even gotten to an NFC Championship game with Jordan Love, even though it's only been 2 years. So it's like, I feel like the expectations are always more, and you always think the Packers are better than they actually are. But I think when you look back at it, there was a lot of years with Aaron Rodgers, with McCarthy, and with LaFleur where it was like 1 seed, 2 seed, and then they shit the bed, no pun intended, in the playoffs.
Shit the bed.
Yeah. Like I remember that one year they had a home game and it's snowing and San Francisco's in town with Jimmy Garoppolo, and you lose that game. It's like you can't lose that game to a California team in the snow in Lambeau Field. So I think doing nothing is a little bit too far, but I think below expectations of the franchise could be said. I think could be true.
I'll agree on that statement. Agree on that.
Okay, I'm so glad I didn't wear the Packers jersey. Sorry, is it Jackson? You wanted to say something?
I was going to say CJ is technically correct about the highest win percentage. While he has a higher one than Vince Lombardi did at Green Bay, Vince Lombardi's overall coaching record was a little bit better. But at Green Bay alone, yes, Matt LaFleur has the highest win percentage.
Okay.
Boom.
I hope so. You got Rodgers. I hope so.
Again, it's you've seen play like coaches have great players and still not do anything.
Yeah, that's true.
I think
The
everyone wanted them
Lions
for
with
the story.
Stafford.
Say it again.
Well,
The Lions with Stafford.
Exactly. I mean, they wanted. Actually, he was he there with Caldwell, Jim Caldwell? He might have been hurt.
Yeah, he was. I think he was there.
All I know is if say Kevin O'Connell, he was Green Bay Super Bowl all the time.
Dang,
I mean,
just throwing out spicy.
I told you. I
man.
told you. Just
Damn.
spicy takes. Josh is like
Oh.
literally the spicy takes king right
Yeah.
I mean,
now.
have you
Oh
not
my
seen what Kevin O'Connell's work with quarterbacks? Have you not seen what that dude can do? Can you imagine if he had Rodgers back?
He is 0-2 in the playoffs though, and lost to Daniel Jones at home. So I don't know. Like if we're going with overrated, like
I'm wondering though. You said
yeah.
his work with quarterbacks,
Yeah.
but then CJ's take goes back to his quarterback had MVP seasons. Like at some point, it's not just like O'Connell's been great with quarterbacks, but if you have a quarterback win MVP, that's the best you could do with quarterbacks, right? After that, it's everything else. Maybe it's a little bit of that rah-rah that you're hating on.
When I think these young offensive coaches, especially the ones that came from the McVay or Shanahan tree, like with LaFleur, a little bit O'Connell, and like Mike McDaniel and Zach Taylor, like I feel like they got pumped up a little bit too early. Like I think some of them are good coaches, but they're not McVay and they're not Shanahan. I think they could get there, but I feel like we pumped them up just because of where they came. And yeah, O'Connell's done great. I mean, like I thought Sam Darnold's career was over, so he revived Sam Darnold's career. And he's done really well with not great quarterbacks. So I give him credit for that. But if we're going to include playoff success, we have to include his playoff record, which isn't good. I know it's only 2 games, but it's only 2.
No, that's fair.
Yeah.
So you guys, if you guys did it, I remember on a show, it was me, Kody, and CJ, and we were talking about like the teams that we thought were going to make a run at the Super Bowl, some of the sleeper teams. And one of the spiciest takes that I've ever heard in my life was CJ convincing us. Oh, he already knows what I'm talking about. He convinced us that the Tennessee Titans were going to make a run at the Super Bowl, or maybe close to the Super Bowl.
Because the division,
yeah, close to the Super Bowl as possible. And he kind of just went on this whole parade of talking about Cam Ward and the whole 9 yards of that team. So CJ, would you say that was one of your spiciest things, or do you have something that's even spicier than that? We got to make these two, Kody and Josh, sweat a little and get red.
Yeah, I was gonna say I'm not doing a jalapeno for a take from another show. Like it's got.
That's fair. That's fair.
Honestly, I mean that was I think that was a definitely pretty spicy take. But like honestly, to be honest with you, I think it might have been mild. I think that's really mild because again, like if you think of the fact of how good that defense was until the injuries piled up and the lack of Will Levis at quarterback, how much can your defensive back carry right into it's going to be broke and so the metrics of the Tennessee Titans defense was really good, and I love their front, right? I love that front, and I think they're only going to get better because they're really young on the defensive side of the ball. So now imagine if you could sustain a couple more drops, because they had a lot of one possession losses, the Tennessee Titans last year. So imagine if that pendulum just swung a couple more times the other way, maybe a few more times than a couple because, they had the first overall pick. But if that pendulum can just swing just a couple times with Cam Ward, just, not turning the ball over, not making meme-worthy plays and photos for 8 weeks in a row. Imagine the Tennessee Titans, stealing one in Houston, stealing one in Jacksonville, right? Stealing 2 in Indianapolis because we don't know what the heck is going on.
Stealing, yeah.
So it's just like, then next you're leading division in your divisional wins. And, we're all talking about how Brian Callahan is like, hey, we kind of slept on him, similar to, Zach Taylor, similar to head coach for the Eagles. Who's blanking right now?
Sirianni.
Yeah. I mean, Sirianni was a clown when he first got hired. Like, he just looked like, who is this goofball? right? And then I've hated on Sirianni, I hated on Zach Taylor when they first like got introduced. Like, why? Who are these guys? Like, they've never called plays, and they're becoming head coaches, right? Obviously, again, the McVay being associated with the right people. We know Sirianni can't call offense. If you want to talk about a coach who can't call offense, that is Sirianni, because his offense was dreadful, and thank goodness he had Shane Steichen on his roster to help innovate a really good offense to help him get to the Super Bowl. So obviously he understands. He really pushing the coin of being a CEO head coach, right? Obviously having one of the greatest GMs in the NFL currently definitely helps when you have just an abundance of talent, and it's kind of ridiculous. But yeah, I mean, I think it was kind of mild, to be honest.
You've got a division opponent's jersey in the room, so let's hear from Josh.
I actually agree with everything CJ just said. I mean, because with Cam Ward being there and whatnot, I think he's a great quarterback. I think can definitely take this team to the next level, the next level. I would not be surprised if he had Jaden Daniels esque season.
Or Stroud.
Yeah, or Stroud.
I think that CJ, you were not here yet when I made my claim about the rookie of the year, the offensive rookie of the year race, and it definitely included the betting favorite and the person you just mentioned, Cam Ward, not winning it. Now that wasn't the spiciest part. I said that the offensive rookie of the year was not drafted in the first round, but that would imply that I don't have the utmost faith in Cam Ward. I think that they're putting the take that you just gave, while it has a ton of merit because of how good their defense was, it does imply how much weight is on Cam Ward's shoulders. They're expecting him to be, the chosen one, the missing piece, the thing that makes the gears turn this time. I think they should probably just be hoping he's not Will Levis.
I don't think that takes much.
Now, yeah, exactly. So I don't think he's obviously better than Will Levis. I think that he will be a good quarterback in the league. I just think that he will kind of not live up to expectations year one. I think that they're going to put a lot on his shoulders. They're going to expect him to do too much too fast. And he's going to have to learn to let go of the ball. And I think that's going to take a couple weeks. I think that they're going to have a really slow start, and he's going to take a lot of sacks.
I want to explore this conversation for like another half second. What are expectations for Cam Ward?
Depends on who you
Will
ask.
Yeah.
Because I think a part of my take as well was that like Cam Ward is kind of one of the most disrespected first overall picks we've seen in a really long time, probably since Eric Fisher, who was probably drafted first overall. And so, like, no one's talking about him. Like, as soon as he got drafted, it was like, okay, where's Shador going? Or, there's a trade, Travis Hunter, right? So it was, I feel like he is, in a sense, flying under the radar a little bit right now. And I think that will bode well for him. I think people will have, your Skip Bayless's, your Stephen A's will be like, we haven't seen enough from him. Like, he's not doing enough. But then if you actually look at the numbers and watch the tape, he's doing fine. He's just not lighting it up because obviously coming off of back-to-back rookies who set unprecedented numbers in their rookie year and expectations, I think that's going to skew what people consider a good rookie year. Some people consider Caleb Williams' year a bad year. But Caleb Williams, if you look at the numbers, actually did really well and didn't turn the ball over as much. He was the most sacked quarterback in NFL history last year and still didn't turn the ball over a lot. And so, but people still consider him to have a bad rookie year. He had a solid rookie year. His team just stunk, right? So again, it's what the media will perceive as good or bad for you. And I just think the expectations for Cam Ward, we don't really know because we're not talking about it. Obviously, if they were to win the division and go to the playoffs, that is a successful year. But what if they don't, but they're just competitive, like similar to the Arizona Cardinals, where they'll again have more one-possession games, but, Cam Ward is not turning the ball over a ton and maybe just has like 15 to 20 touchdowns, right? But under 10 interceptions. Is that a positive rookie year or is that a negative rookie year?
That's a great question. I think it's all about how kind of it looks, because I think Caleb had a better year than people perceive, but the expectations were just through the roof. So like if Cam Moore goes and has the same exact year Caleb Williams had, everybody's going to call it a success because no one's putting the expectations on Cam Moore that they put on Caleb Williams. But I would say that successful year, 20 touchdowns, 15, 20 touchdowns, maybe, 10, 12 interceptions. I don't love their receiving core. It's a little old with like Calvin Ridley and Tyler Lockett. It's not terrible, but it's getting a little up there.
They got
But
a
a little youth movement and whatever they can get out of. I'm blanking on the kid they drafted out of Arkansas. Like 4
they got
years.
they got a speedster out of Arkansas. They also got Torrey Holton. I'm pretty sure. No. They got
the kid out of Colorado State. Yeah,
they got. I don't know. I think Horton went to Seattle. I think they got Alec A. Minor, and then they got Xavier Restrepo as a free agent, priority free agent. So which
Restrepo
is going to be good for him.
Yeah, because he's got the connection with Cam Moore that they played at Miami together. But I mean, he did go undrafted for a reason, so maybe there's he's slow. So I mean, maybe he could be like kind of like a Cooper Kupp like safety blanket for him a little bit. But I don't really have high expectations for the Titans. You kind of talked me into them being better than I thought they're going to be. I think they're in maybe the worst division. I think both South divisions are the worst divisions in both conferences, and it's pretty far. Like it's not close. So they have a chance to compete in that division because, I mean, we don't know what the Colts are going to look like, what the Jaguars are going to look like, and the Texans have been better, but they haven't been like a juggernaut. So yeah, I think they could compete. So I'm with you. I think it's a mild take, and it's an old take as well. So do you got any fresh ones?
Yeah, I was gonna say,
you want fresh hot takes?
Yeah.
Oh, get them the jalapenos and hot sauce ready. Okay.
It just popped into my head, right? Again, this is I'm stealing a little bit of the arguments that I've used with the Tennessee Titans, but Daniel Jones will win MVP this year.
Oh my God!
Man, do I just got to drink the whole thing? Like, are we just gonna eat all of them? Yeah.
Josh, you're gonna have to do the shit the bed one.
James Steichen and Daniel Jones will be to what is his name? Sam and
O'Connell,
right? Again, we know what Steichen can do in terms of calling the plays. He has a competent on running the ball and passing the ball, getting the ball out quick. I know what Danny Dimes can do. I hate using that name, Vanilla Vic, whatever you want to call him, because I hate what he did to the Commanders. He was getting the ball out in time, under 2 seconds, out. Their receiving core is good. Josh Downs, A.D. Mitchell,
Alec Pierce,
Pittman,
Alec Pierce, yeah. Then they did draft tight end from Penn State.
Yeah, Tyler
Warren. Like the weapons are there. They still have Jonathan Taylor as his running back. This is giving me vibes of what he had in New York, to be quite honest with you. I'm Jonathan Taylor and Saquon Barkley. You can kind of say they're similar in talent-wise. I'm not saying
it's a spicy take in its own, man. That's another one.
I mean, Jonathan, you can't say that Jonathan Taylor is not a top 10 running back.
Yeah, I think his skill set's different than Saquon Barkley's. I think he's more of an inside the numbers running style, where Saquon Barkley can take the top off. So there's a different speed level there.
Jonathan Taylor can take the top off. You just haven't seen it because he's been hurt, but he's done it. He's also can catch the ball out the backfield at a great rate as well. I think the weapons in Indianapolis are there. Again, we wanted to bet on the project of Anthony Richardson. And that project has been failing. You get in the F the past couple of years. His back hurts. He had a back issue since he was in middle school. Like, how did that not go through the physical process of trying to figure out if he's worthy of a top 5 pick? But we know Daniel Jones is good enough to be competent and get a team to the playoffs. So is there any juice left to squeeze in the Daniel Jones juice drink, whatever you want to say? I think there is. And I think Shane Steichen is competent to have Daniel Jones light it up. 33 touchdowns passing, 7 rushing touchdowns, 4,000 passing yards. I think that would be good enough for him to get the playoffs.
You're gonna make me make the
MVP
same.
rate.
You're making me make the same fatal mistake I've made the past couple years, and banking on Daniel Jones' running game to carry my fantasy team by I'm never gonna buy a quarterback high. I'm always in redraft leagues, and so quarterbacks go way too early. You got someone who takes Mahomes or Lamar, someone at the end of the first round, and you're like, what are you guys doing? And I wait till there's guys like Kyler Murray and Daniel Jones left, and I'm always telling myself, he's got good stock. He's a good runner. That's gonna earn you some points, and it doesn't work. Every year it's the same story.
Yeah, I mean, Daniel Jones to win comeback player of the year is pretty decent, but MVP, like, that's spicy. I got 2 jalapenos on here. It's a double one. That wasn't something I was expecting, so I'll give you props for that.
I can come out of nowhere for sure.
Oh.
Yeah, that's CJ.
we did some divisional talk as well, argued about which divisions are the worst, and I believe there's a small crack at the NFC South there. So that's going to be my spicy take: is that the NFC South puts 2 teams in the playoff.
Whoa!
Calling your shot. Calling your shot on the teams, or just 2?
3 jalapenos.
Oh, if anything was 3 jalapenos, it was the Daniel Jones MVP. I mean, I
had
think Kody
2.
would be warranted to drink his jalapeno jar.
I thought about it, but yeah, you don't want me to throw up on live on here.
Do a product launch to be like Tums. Here you
Right.
go.
I don't even know this brand that did the jalapenos, but yeah. That's pretty spicy. I mean, I could see. I mean, Tampa and Atlanta have been kind of, obviously Tampa's been the class of that division. During Brady and post Brady, but I don't know, man. Like, 2 teams. I'm not a big fan of Atlanta. I think if it's 2 teams, and I think it's your team, that's the other.
Say it,
team,
Kody.
Carolina.
Say it,
I think it's Carolina. I think if it's 2 teams, it's your team. It's Carolina, because I don't like Atlanta. I mean, I like Penix, but I don't like their team. I think their coach is kind of overconfident in what he is and who he is. So, yeah, I think it's 2 teams, because I don't think the Saints are. I think Tyler Shuck's going to look like who I think he is as well as the quarterback for the Saints. So, yeah, I think if it's 2 teams and your prediction's right, I think it's the Panthers sneaking in as a wild card team.
I think it's Panthers and Falcons.
No Bucks.
No Bucks. If you want to be spicy, why not get spicy?
Spicy. That is spicy.
That's going to be, you know what, CJ? You've got some ground there, and here's your ground. Every team that I have newly inherited as a micro fandom, because obviously I have my teams that I will stay true to no matter where I move, no matter what I do. Every team I inherit ends up having their worst season historically the year I inherit them. Let's go first with Florida State. The year I committed to Florida State as a freshman was the year that Jimbo Fisher walked out and went to Texas A&M, the start of the Willie Taggart era, which was a horrific project, right?
Forget that.
Got to Carolina as a sophomore, and they brought back on Mac Brown, who did not end up being a successful project. They had a 6-6 season that year, which was a actual, I guess it was a step up from the year prior. But that was the first year. Sorry, the first year at Florida State was the first year they didn't make a bowl game in 44 years. The first year at Carolina was the first time they didn't make the tournament in like 10 or 11 years in basketball. I am moving to Tampa very soon, next week to be exact, and I've already explored the idea of Bucks season tickets because they have a pretty low price point. So that in its own right should guarantee that the Bucks do not make the playoffs.
So what you're saying is anywhere you move, you need to just fade the team that's in the
team.
you move to.
Fade Jackson.
Yeah.
I have been searching long and hard for a competitive job offer in Kansas City. I promise you. I have been trying.
That'd be awesome. All right, it's 2 jalapenos for that take, though. But
Yeah, there you go.
Are we just throwing out spicy takes now? It's just an open forum now
It's
to do
open
that.
forum, guys. We have 10 minutes left. This is it. If you have
It's like a spicy take war.
All right. I got some.
Go ahead, Josh. Yep.
All right. Let's see. Stephon Diggs will be suspended this year.
Will or won't?
Will be suspended this year.
Those are just pop rocks in that bag, man. It wasn't anything.
Oh, hold on. I got Kirk Cousins going to the Steelers, and Eagles being third in the NFC East.
I don't hate that one.
That one's spicy for sure.
I don't hate that at all, actually. I mean, it's not that bad. I mean, they got a bit of a youth movement at the moment. They still have a majority of the players that they have for the Eagles. I don't hate that.
Yeah. All right, mine's kind of mild. It's kind of spicy because it's a 2-1, but I got Brock Bowers breaking both the yards and touchdown records for tight ends this year.
Ooh,
that's 17 touchdowns, 1,500 yards.
He's on my dynasty.
Yeah, so I think he does. I mean, 1,500 yards. I think he could do. He did 11 last year in his rookie year with just us playing quarterback out there for him, basically. So I think now he's got a decent quarterback in Geno Smith. So I think he could do the yards, no problem. 17 touchdowns is Gronk's record. That'll be tough.
Yeah,
but
that's a high margin. I'll admit, hopefully none of my fantasy football league mates watch this, but he's someone that is high on my draft board. I think I would maybe even reach up if I am at the last pick of the first round and just go ahead and make him part of my double up. Just go ahead and say, I want Brock Bowers. I'm not letting him slide. He's not making it to the third, obviously. So, I think I would reach and I think I would take him early.
He's like the new Travis Kelce. Like when you have a guy, it's like when you got that run of like elite backs that you want to get early or receivers, then it's like, and you're like anywhere from like that 10 to 12 range or even like 8 to 12 range. If you're in a 12-man league, you're like, you know what? I'm going to start. Because, I mean, why not just get the best tight end who, is going to get him and Trey McBride, like whoever you expect, that's going to give you high fantasy value. I mean, that makes a ton of sense.
If you can find someone that can win you that position group every week, that is so valuable. At receiver, there are too many huge breakout games that, you just never know. Some wide receiver 2 could have 2 touchdowns and 100 yards, right? Some running back could just blow the top off on 2 different plays and have a great game. But tight end, Brock Bowers is looking like what you said, what Kelce was, someone who will win you that position. If you can win that position by more than 5 to 8 points, you're in a good standing with the rest of your roster as long as you don't have bums across the board, So I like him. I'm in one league. I just threw out a request to see if anyone wanted to make a fantasy football league for my new job. And I got 16 people saying yes. Ooh, so
I love a deep league.
I love a deep league. I love having to scramble and figure out who people are in the bottom of the 10th round as you're like, am I like you take a ton of rookies in a draft like that. You take guys, you're just banking on them really finding a spot in the offense.
Yeah, I've done the 32-man league and it is disgusting.
That 30 team?
No, all right, that's
32.
That's completely no.
It's 32. Disgusting in the greatest way possible.
Who is your backup? Who's your backup quarterback?
There isn't one.
Yeah. What is your scores? Like 50 to 60? Like it's just low scoring because like you got randos. I mean,
it gets pretty wicked. I think there's a cap on quarterbacks though. Like I think you can only like really house one. So I mean, obviously like or one or two. But like obviously you're gonna have to bank on injuries, right? You're gonna have to get guys who are like, like a Kirk Cousins situation. Like
go ahead and take McCaffrey's back up.
Right. So it's disgusting once you get to like round 5. But it's so fun.
That sounds awful.
That sounds
yeah.
I would just auto draft after round like 6, man, because I don't even know who these guys are.
Yeah, it's a sicko move. Like, you have to respect it.
Get that deep.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah.
Okay,
I got a take. So you got time still, right?
Yes, we do.
All right, so we were kind of talking about firings earlier and coaches getting fired, right? I kind of want to bring us back to that. The Pittsburgh Steelers will fire Mike.
Oh my God!
I'm not going to say fire is the terminology, but the Pittsburgh Steelers will allow Mike Tomlin will step down as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers after a disastrous season. Because here's why I say that. Obviously, I don't know if you guys talked about this week in trades out there doing something very uncanny like in terms of being aggressive in the trade market and getting guys and paying them, but not paying their own guys like they normally do. A lot of money, giving them raises as well, which is crazy. Jonnu Smith going from $4 million to $12 million in a year, and giving Jalen Ramsey an additional $2 million in the trade value, but then trading Minka Fitzpatrick back to where they found him. This reeks of desperation. This reeks of a team that what the Steeler way has been is not working. And so they are desperate and trying to throw everything at the fire. So if you have a team that is desperate to try to do whatever it takes to get over the hump and win a playoff game this year by betting on Jalen Ramsey with a big contract, betting on DK Metcalf with a big contract, giving Jonnu Smith a big contract, who obviously loves Arthur Smith. This just is not the Steeler way. Is the Steeler way broken? Maybe Omar, who's new, is the GM. Is he trying to bring these fresh new ideas that may fail for him? I think that there will be a massive blow up in the Pittsburgh Steelers organization to get back to the Steelers way and to have a youth movement. And TJ Watt will be the first domino that will show the crack of, hey, this is not working, so they're going to trade TJ Watt to the Commanders. And so, which I predicted on this show a while ago, and you guys looked at me crazy, but now you're starting to see the roots to spread just a little bit.
For Terry McLaurin, though, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
No, CJ, so I'm going to choose on that one, dude. I like that because I have on here kind of a double take on your take on that, because I have on here Mike Tomlin is also somebody who might, get out of there. And I have on here that Aaron Rodgers, there'll be footage of him beefing hardcore with Tomlin on the sideline. That'll be very, very out there. They'll be yelling, shouting, pointing fingers, slamming helmets, and all that. So I definitely think.
Can I add a caveat to just make this a Carolina Reaper? No Bryce Young. Bill Belichick will be the head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers next year.
Whoa. Okay, 3 jalapenos. Guys, take your goddamn shots. Let's do it.
Not happening, but I mean, I like your spiciness. I'll do 2 since I'm already like 8 in, so it's been But I kind of had similar to your spicy take. So my spicy was 2 AFC North coaches will end up getting fired, and so Mike Tomlin could be one of those. I don't think it'd be John Harbaugh. It'd either be Stefanski or
why not
Zach Taylor.
Why not John Harbaugh?
I just don't see them pulling the trigger. I don't.
We understand that Justin Tucker's scandal is still unraveling, right?
Crazy.
It is.
You
that
know
is.
how
Yeah.
long the Baltimore Ravens have held and covered up behavior that could trickle down, and someone could be the fall person. Just saying.
Maybe. Yeah. So maybe more than 2, but yeah. Belichick being the Steelers head coach, that would be at like 75 years old too next year. That would be interesting.
I don't think he loves it enough, honestly.
Pete Carroll, man. Pete Carroll is older than Bill Belichick.
He's got more energy, though.
He's younger in spirit.
Yeah, he
For
does.
sure.
Yeah.
I mean, you're saying Bill Belichick's not younger in spirit than Pete Carroll, what he's been doing this offseason?
He's younger in girlfriend. I mean,
There we go.
Yeah.
Be able to do that.
Well.
Oh dear God. Okay, we have reached that point in the show where Josh is struggling. Kody is probably trying to be like, where's more water? I need more water. And we have reached the end of our show. This was a great one, guys. These are my co-hosts, Kody, Josh, Jackson, CJ. Thank you guys so much for being on the show. This is From the Sidelines. We are live from 8 p.m. Eastern on Sundays on Sports Fluent. And we only have 9 Sundays, guys, before the start of the NFL season. That is so exciting. And when it starts, you already know we're going to be talking so much about what is happening. So thank you all so much, and we will see you all next week.
Canada. Put on a suit, drink water, don't drink and drive. Hey man, call your mother.
It means nothing. It means nothing.
Nah, they lying to you. It's about the money.
Now you're more fluent.